And welcome at the Burger Field at St. John's College for the final game of the 2018 Easter Rugby Festival at St. John's. Beautiful weather that the game is going to be played on the Burger Field. Temperature about 17 degrees Celsius. And joining me, Johan Smith in commentary, is IRB Rugby Hall of Famer Kennedy Timber. Kennedy, how are you doing?
Good. Excited to be here. I'm sure all the fans have been watching some excellent rugby that's been played today.
Yeah, Kennedy Timber, of course, also Director of Rugby at St. Albans College. And congratulations on a good tournament for your side as well, Kennedy.
Yes, and it's been a tough one because we've played sides with different styles and that. And I think that's what the interesting thing about it is, that you come here, you face sides that you probably wouldn't face in your normal season. So it's been a successful tournament for us, and we've enjoyed being at this picturesque school.
Yeah, what a setting for the final game of the 2018 St. John's College Easter Festival. Brought to you live by School Sports Live, and thank you very much for Standard Bank for making that possible. And the final game of the festival will see the Maroon Juggernaut from Stellenbosch, Paul Roos Gymnasium, taking on High School Nelspruit in a much anticipated clash. And Kennedy, I must say, I've been immensely impressed by the side from Stellenbosch, and bringing a lot of the players of last year, and also had a quality under 16 group in 2017, so they look like one of the front runners in school rugby this year. What do you think?
No, definitely a very impressive side. They've got a lot of the boys that were with us at the South African Schools EPD camp that was held in Stellenbosch, and these boys showed tremendous skill, and they've just got this, exceptional little conditioning that they have, which is very impressive.
So we see Voliter getting the game underway for Paul Roos, and immediately carried in by Andy Fourie for Nelspruit. The little box kick coming in from the scrum half, Jock McQuire. Well taken in by John Mostert, and immediately on the attack is the Maroon Juggernaut. Carried up by the Paul Roos forwards onto the halfway line now, but good defense by Nelspruit, and looking to keep Paul Roos up. Eventually they do go to ground as carried up by Jared Cairns for Paul Roos. Into the backs we go now. It looks like carried on there by Croy, is that. Just looking to see which replacement Paul Roos has started this match with. A beautiful carry up, and not held in the tackle, getting up again. Paul Roos starting this game very impressively. Is that man Juan Mostert. And now into the hands of Voliter. And it's Voliter with a double sidestep, and he's over. Beautiful skill showed by the grade 11 fullback from Paul Roos, Voliter. And what a start it is by the Maroon Juggernaut. And Kennedy, they lead 5-0 early doors.
Oh, yes. Voliter with the hot sidestep right up to the try line. I mean, it was well worked by the Maroon Juggernaut, as we're calling them. They really worked penetrating, and just those extra offloads into from the tackle. It makes it really hard for the opposition to regather and put their defensive lines. But with the inside ball player Brendan Fenter, who's in there as a quick link man, following his father's footsteps in terms of just understanding the game and moving the ball. That was a good try.
Yeah, Kennedy, what's impressed me about this Paul Roos side immensely over the duration of this tournament is the directness of their play. Yeah. A lot of the times at these festivals we see the sides going side to side, coast to coast, but not really penetrating. They've got the pack of forwards to do that, and then amazing backline just to finish it off.
Yeah, and I think that epitomizes when we say 15-man rugby. So all the sides, as he strikes it, beautiful kick, just to make the point. 7-0. Paul Roos in the lead.
Voliter there with a conversion that would have made Mr. Tsimba proud right from the touchline. And Kennedy, of course, did that plenty of times in Bloemfontein. So we see a nice hanging restart by Tian du Plessis for Nelspruit. Taken in by Sherink for Paul Roos. And immediately penetrating in the midfield is Paul Roos. Quick ball for scrum of Gerard Klute into the hands of John Mostert. And well taken in by Paul Rieder, the fullback for Nelspruit. And Rieder starting with a counter attack. But referees very, very strict, Kennedy, on anything above the shoulders. And we saw in the previous match, Hoërkool College guilty of some ill discipline.
Yeah, definitely. The refs are under strict orders to, penalize anything that goes above shoulder height. And we could just see that the players obviously sidestepped and forced the Paul Roos players to go high. And that's something that, coaches always try to tell players is, get your body into position so that you can get the knee and the shoulder following through so that you can go low. When you're looking at the New Zealand sides and some of those Super Rugby sides, that's one thing they are very, very articulate about, that you've got to go low so that you can drive them back. That way it's easier to contest at the breakdown.
Jason Cornelius with a feed now for Nelspruit on the halfway line. Taken in well by Van der Berg. And it's left wing with a carry, Joshua Maas. Now, good carry by Maas, making some headway into the Paul Roos defence. It's into the hands of Rieder. Jock McQuire feeding Swanepoel. And a good corkscrew out of the tackle there. Nelspruit with some decent possession at this stage, but it looks like the referee judging that Paul Roos was a little bit late. Ruck was already formed. Yeah. Hands in, Kennedy, and opportunity for Nelspruit to get points on the board.
Yeah, I think a good decision to go for poles because they have been under the cosh in this first couple of minutes, and just to get points on the board would really just settle you down. But it was a good offloading. I love their plus game where they've got a target that shifts the target point. That's something that their coach, Corne Steenkamp, who used to play a tough flanker. He played a few games next to me, one of the toughest flankers I've played with. And it's good to see him on the field in there and still in the game.
Kennedy, if I remember correctly, Corne Steenkamp played for the Pumas at flank, and hard and uncompromising player. As guys from the Pumas and the Falcons obviously are.
Yeah, no, definitely. And those are the types of flankers that used to terrorize us as fly-offs. And he was one of the best of them.
As we see Tian du Plessis, this man's got a big boot on him, Kennedy. Good strike. And unfortunately misses it to the left. And Kennedy, being an ex-goal kicker yourself, sometimes when you go for those longer kicks, tendency is to miss them left.
Yes,
just
especially
want to put in a bit of extra.
Yeah, especially the ones in front of the poles, because everyone is expecting you to put them in. So you have to, it's a bit more nerve-wracking than the ones from the side.
Kate Voliter, and over the head of his opposing number, Paul Rieder, but well covered by Riandre van der Merwe, who puts in the kick and chased up by Rieder. And well taken in by Kate Voliter once again. And that learned right boot of him, just chasing du Plessis back. But like any good fly-off, du Plessis positioned well and gets it off the park. But net gain there for Paul Roos. And Kennedy, I've been very impressed with the exposure gained by the grade 11s of Paul Roos and the calmness by Kate Voliter at 15.
Yeah, and that's excellent kicking in terms of, you put them down the pressure so that they can just kick the ball out, and obviously the lineup comes back to you. And the way they've attacked and their structure has been so good. The Maroon Juggernaut, they go to work it again here. Although it was a good sack by Nelspruit, but you can see that the structures are in place.
John Mostert carrying up strongly for Paul Roos, the very talented fly-off who played last year as well. So it's Gerard Klute now, gets it out to the number 7, Herman Hines, with a good carry for Paul Roos. Quick ball for Klute, and lovely for a scrum off to operate like this with a carry by Cairns this time. Cairns just holding on till the cavalry arrives. Johan Bauer this time with a carry for Paul Roos. Klute, a little bit of miscommunication, but well tidied up by the big fly of John Mostert. Klute waits once more. Carried up by Robert Rogers for Paul Roos. Using the blind side again is Paul Roos with a carry by big 8th man Andre Smit. Rogers again with a carry. Beautiful carry by the loose head. And this is what makes them so dangerous, Kennedy. As we see big contact there in the midfield on Regan van der Westhuizen. Klute once again. A lot of possession for Paul Roos early in this match. Good carried up by Micardo de Pria. Oh, what an offload. Sleight of hand by Herman Hines.
Yes.
And Rogers getting it over. And a beautiful rugby, especially by the Paul Roos forwards, handling like backs, Kennedy.
When they say that the forwards are going to go the direct route, this is a perfect example because Rogers, well deserved. He handled the ball 2 or 3 times, and I think he actually got forward momentum when he ran into the gap. That was a well-worked try.
Kennedy, well, we've got a bit of time with Volita about to take the conversion. It must be amazing for you to be spending time at St. Albans and back in the game that you really love. And I know you're also very involved still back in Zimbabwe. Yeah. And must be amazing for you to work with tomorrow's superstars.
Yeah, and people don't really understand how much talent it is because we have to study other teams that we know, teams from Cape Town, teams from Durban, but there is just so much talent. Having traveled last year with the Springbok Legends to England, I spent some time, extra week in England. Just looking at their schoolboy, they do not have anything close to the amount of talent that we have here in South Africa. It is talent in abundance, and it's just such a joy to be able to work with the future talent, and just try help them also understand and get extra skills that are needed in modern rugby.
Tiaan du Plessis met 'n lekker hoë hangskop daar, and not taken in by Paul Roos this time, as we see Ricardo de Pree just being dropped there by one of his supporters, and did get a little touch to that one. So it'll be Nelspruit to feed the line out as we see a replacement hooker, Charles van Zyl. And well taken in with an overthrow there, Paul Roos, and charge down there, and under pressure it is John Mostert. Who does well to clear his lines, and Paul Roos escaping there a little bit, Kennedy.
Yeah, the good recovery by Mostert there because it was a deflection, and he was able to not panic and clear the ball. But they're still under pressure. I would like to see Nelspruit obviously get a clean line out. They had some clean line out ball in the previous games of the 2 days, but if they can just get some driving play and just put the Maroon Juggernaut, and that's a good throw at the back line out. They're obviously looking to work that vacuum at the back of the line out.
Carried up by Swanepoel there for Nelspruit, as we see coming to the open side now, and a good carry there by their scrum half. In fact, it was one of the loose forwards with a carry there. You see number 12, Stefan Smith, also in over the ball. Another carry for a lanky lock forward, Isak Swanepoel. Maguire is into the hands of du Plessis. Oh, and then unfortunately it's intercepted. And a good run, it looks like Brendan Venter with the ball in hand. Venter still going, and he's over the halfway line.
Difficult decision to go on the blind, but as long as they maintain the ball, they'll be okay here. But they've got good momentum, they do have. But Nelspruit are putting in the shoulders and a good tackle, and they might have just turned it over here. Let's see whether scrum opted for the kick on the other side, but they were under pressure. It was really scrappy ball. But it's been a physical encounter so far. And I can understand.
I have been impressed. Sorry, Kennedy, as we speak at the same time. I have been impressed with the commitment shown on defense by Nelspruit. They are up against it, but not standing back, and like you said, getting the shoulder hits in there and really trying to upset the rhythm of Paul Roos.
Yeah, and I was about to say that I can understand why the St. John's Festival here, that's been sponsored by Standard Bank, has got a recovery room because the bodies are taking shots. I was about to go into that recovery room after just witnessing some of the big hits. But that's schoolboy rugby at its best.
Yeah, that's something, Kennedy, that being a passionate schoolboy rugby supporter myself, definitely over the last decade has changed immensely. The physicality in schools rugby has just gone to the next level. And playing 3 games in 5 days, you better have a decent squad system.
Yeah, it definitely does test your depth, and I think that's a joy of these Easter festivals, because there's some players that are roaming between the first team and second team, and they get a chance to also, play against the top quality sides. And that's always good.
With the feed. Tiaan du Plessis, big boot, looking to find some grass. But once again, great positional play by Kate Volita. And Volita with a step of the left and looking for some space. Beautiful carry by Volita. Taken there by opposition number Paul Reeder. We see the inside ball by the hooker of Paul Roos, silky skills by the forwards. Nelspruit in over that ball very quickly, but the clean out does come eventually. We see Mostert into the hands of De Prea, and have been very impressed with Mikado De Prea over the tournament as he lets go and then quickly gets to his feet again. Totally allowable. Into the hands of the tight forwards again for Paul Roos. And referee spotting Nelspruit High School going offside, and another golden opportunity for Paul Roos to get onto the attack.
Yeah, they've been forced to go offsides because it's been pressure. Most of this game, the ball has been dominated by Paul Roos. If we look at the stats, I'm sure they're dominating in terms of ball possession. And it's just interesting to see how the Paul Roos forwards do this type of zigzag attack formation, and they suck you in, and the moment you start folding back, they start bringing in the backs, which is why they've got such a balanced, well-balanced attack.
Jean-Jacques Kotze. Great take in the line out by Herman Heinz. Nelspruit once again getting the maul to the ground very quickly. John Mostert now. And it looks like a carrier by Regan van der Westhuizen, the strong number 13 of Paul Roos. And looking to keep him up is Nelspruit. What does the referee say? Was the knees to the ground? No, beautiful work by the defense, Kennedy.
Yeah, that's good work. And I mean, it's about being able to identify when a player's gone in too high. And it's one of the key turnovers of modern rugby. And it's good to see Nelspruit understanding that. And it was, I think, Paul Roos just used that center cut back to get the target runner before they start playing their forwards, who have really made good yards in this game. That loose trio has been quite impressive in terms of getting them good momentum.
Both these Paul Roos centers, Kennedy, played last year as well. Brendan Venter and Regan the Bus van der Westhuizen.
Yeah.
And they were a very dangerous pairing last year already. Interesting to see Remy Engelbrecht not on the field at this stage. Also played for the Paul Roos at right wing last year. Tian du Plessis once again with that big boot, and brings great relief for his side. And that's a quality kick by the first five, Kennedy.
Yeah, he's got an excellent strike. That's good striking of the sweet spot, as we call it. And it really does relieve pressure, for forwards. They love that. Just having played with Rassie Rasmus, there's nothing he loves more as a forward. He used to say, if you can kick it more than 60 meters, we'll love you as a fly-off.
Jean-Jacques Kotze unfortunately overthrown that line out, and beautifully taken in by Nelspruit. As we see Maguire now with good momentum, and then unfortunately the lanky lock forward Isak Swanepoel just taking his eyes at that one. Maybe he couldn't believe his side on the front foot for a change, and just checking for the gap before he received that one.
Yeah, and it was unfortunate because they've been able to get ball on the front foot, and it's always a key part when you do get a turnover. Just try and maintain that ball maintenance to make sure that you maximize on that go forward.
Kennedy, being a backline coach yourself, I mean, this is prime attacking real estate. Scrum right in the middle of the field, and which way do you think they're going to go?
I'd obviously look to go to the quick tap. That's what they're going to offer, with centers that are slick. Oh, beautiful. Well done. Brendan Venter with an offload.
There goes that man, Regan van der Westhuizen, the butt. Yeah. And then just a beautiful offload into the hands of Tian Pretorius. But that try was made by the number 10, Juan Mostert, with a beautiful, soft offload.
Definitely. When you see the supporters standing up, they obviously are witnessing some real slick rugby. And the key to this was ball movement and ball continuity. I think they should take a clip of this and just put it on YouTube, and just, when you want to show coaches what offloads at the right timing in tackle, this was perfect.
Kennedy, also obviously important, the line that Brendan Venter ran there in support. If we see the replay here, we see the ball in the hands of John Mostert, getting the hands through the tackle, and then a beautiful line run by Brendan Venter, also getting the offload away to the Bus van der Westhuizen, and a beautiful last offload as well. That was just poetry in motion.
Yep, it's an offload feast festival, as we can see there, but it was done to perfection. I really have been impressed by the skills, just the little micro skills that the backline has had to show here, and in terms of when to take it in, when to stay on your feet, and just keep on offloading.
Kennedy, as any good coach will, guess after these festivals, you'll get your hands on a lot of the material. A lot of the games that were streamed by School Sports Live, also at the North-South Festival, where some of your opponents would have been playing.
Yeah.
And two standout number 10s for me over both festivals was John Mostert, which we're seeing now, and then Zander du Plessis from Grey College yesterday, putting on a masterclass on Saturday actually against Garsfontein. And it'll be very interesting to see them meet later on in the year.
Yeah, definitely. And as we're looking forward to the Craven Week, these types of players are going to meet. And it's just wonderful that we've got a whole range of fly-offs. We've always had, struggles in terms of fly-offs of South Africa, but it's good to see there's a few coming.
Nelspruit Hoërkool wat nou 'n bietjie die bal geniet. En ongelukkig is dit weer Isak Swanepoel wat die bal aanslaan. En die man wat oral opduik op die veld, Swanepoel. Ongelukkig kon hy nie daar vashou. En nou is dit weer in die hande van Tiaan Pretorius. En Pretorius wat weer opstaan. En Paul Roos wat nou vinnige bal gaan kry. Gerard Kloete weer opgedra hier deur die swaarpak voorspelers. Dit was Anton Smit. Nou in die hande van Rogers wat die bal laat loop. Gerard Kloete met so skoppie deur en Paul Reder wat gaan moet keer vir Hoërskool Nelspruit. En wat sê die skeieregter is voordeel verby daar, dit lyk so. En well done by fullback Reder. Well covered there by Paul Roos. It looks like Croy on the right wing for them. Yeah, that was Cade Croy. And what does the referee say? Was that a trip, Kennedy?
Yeah, he's saying yellow card. I think they have been under pressure, Nelspruit, and now they're opting to tackle any which way.
As we see Cade Croy with a beautiful angled run, and then just one of the big heavies, he thought he got there. And
but there was, when I look at it closely, there wasn't much wrong with that. It just looked awkward, but he seemed to be going for cap. I thought he had tripped him at first, but there was nothing much wrong with that.
Yeah, I think he just got wrong-footed there, and you could see the effort was for the hands to come. And maybe just a little bit unfortunate there's High School Nelspruit.
Yeah, to get a yellow card is a bit a tough call.
Ball taken in from the line out by Ricardo de Pre. Oh, and then a big hit by Stefan Smith on Brendan Fenter in the midfield. And now there's a counter-racking opportunity, but well carried up now by Cans for Paul Roos. He's been everywhere as the number 4 lock. And another beautiful carry by Johan Bauer, and he's straight through. Great last-ditch defense, but another offload from the ground, and it's beautiful work by Johan Kotze for Paul Roosthoeke. And Jean-Jacques Kotze, going over for another 5.
Kotze's in for what a wonderful try in terms of offload. Again, instead of offloading in the tackle this time, they opted for offloading off the ground. Their skills are plenty in this team. And we spoke about that loose trio really are making hard yards and have made it difficult for Nelspruit to be able to tackle.
Yeah, Bauer, Heinz and Andre Smith has been absolutely everywhere, and they provide that linking role in the way that Paul Roos plays. And interestingly, Kennedy, ever since you've mentioned it, I have watched it, and Paul Roos, the pack is very fond of playing left, right, sort of splitting the defensive lines. And when we were younger, we got taught playing same side.
Exactly.
Dragging the defense over, but that sometimes just gives defenses time to settle as well. Yeah. And with them hitting both sides of the ruck, they're really dragging in the defense. Beautiful liner run there by Bauer, and great last-ditch tackle here by Paul Reder, the fullback. But then just the skills and the know-about to offload to the ground, and great try for Kotze.
Referee just bringing on, I think, the player that had been given a yellow card. A chance to get back on, as the crowd has been entertained to some excellent, skillful rugby. This is what we love about schoolboy rugby, don't we?
Tiaan Pretorius vir die bal inneem vir Paul Roos. Hy versprei hom in die hande van sy agste man Andre Smit. Kyk nou 'n plaasvervanger nou op skramskakel, en dan 'n wye aangee daar deur die Paul Roos agterspelers. Dan Regan van 'n Westhuizen wat 'n man na die pad uitstamp. Skitterende aansluitende spel deur Paul Roos. En hulle vorder so tot op die 10 meter lyn nou. And then the referee says Paul Roos going off their feet.
Oh.
Kennedy, that's
Why, oh, why? Why do we want to stop such beautiful rugby that's going on? He had to turn. He's allowed a second place movement, so he is allowed to roll and place it. But that was just some wonderful hands and understanding of space.
I saw the referee gesturing going off your feet. And why would you be going off your feet if there's absolutely no risk in losing the ball?
Yeah.
And I think just sometimes the referee should just let something, just let something slip, because we're here to be entertained, and it's school rugby at its best, being played here by Paul Roos. See the line out being fed and well taken in by Van der Nest for Nelspruit. The Paul Roos pack of forwards now attempt to get turnover possession, and they have beautiful work by the pack of forwards. It's into the hands of the lanky fly of John Mostert, and nearly breaks through. Was he held in that tackle, Kennedy?
Yeah, he was. But as they continue, their forwards are able to keep that ball moving.
And once again, another great carry by Lucien Rogers. He's been heavily involved, as we also see Zander Botha, the replacement scrum half, on into the hands of that man Pretorius once again, and looks to be a stray boot there in the face. Like to see that one again, Kennedy, as the field full of replacements now, as we also see Ruben Labuskachny, the number 21 on for Paul Roos. Botha gets it away to that Hoërkool. Big carry up by JJ Kotze for Paul Roos. Botha once again. Cans just losing that one forward and taken off by Jan-Roo van der Berg for Nelspruit. Perhaps a chance of the counter attack after a turnover. Paul Reeder, the fullback, he's been pretty impressive for Nelspruit thus far. En die skeieregter wat 'n verligting bring vir Hoërkool Nelspruit nou, as hy aandui dat Paul Roos onkant was. En het lyk of hy ook gesels met die twee kapteins.
Some interesting calls by the referee, and obviously he's chatting to the referee now. But it's been a high-paced game in the past couple of minutes.
Kennedy, at least Nelspruit is putting up some stern resistance. Paul Roos scored 4 beautiful tries, but it's not all one-way traffic. Nelspruit has been having a decent time in the line-outs, winning some of their own possession. And you mentioned earlier during the piece that they do have a quality line-out.
Yeah.
And Nelspruit, we see getting together in a little huddle. Obviously, the captain's got a message from the referee. We also see Anton van Eck, in the number 23 jumper, on the field for Nelspruit. Scored 2 beautiful tries on Saturday. And definitely came on tour with a number 23, but putting his hands up to be in the starting 15.
Another great boot. Well found touch there.
Yeah, I've been very impressed by the fly-off of Nelspruit as well, Tiaan du Plessis. Last year, Nelspruit had Stefan van der Bank at number 10 that played for the Pumas at Craven Week, and I think he managed to get into the SA Academy side, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they really had a good team last year, and obviously for them to follow on, just to overthrow there, and I think just miscommunication in terms of the timing and the jumpers.
Yeah, excuse me for putting the commentator's curse on the line out of Nelspruit, as we see the carry up once again by Anton Smit. It's a replacement scrum off. Mostert and Stefan Smit. Oh, very nearly intercepted. And by the number 12 of Nelspruit, who also had a very influential game on Saturday. And Stefan Smit very nearly got points for his side there, Kennedy. And it would have been well deserved.
Well deserved indeed. We see him diving like a third slipper cricket, almost just matching that catch on the side. But it's come to those types of options and opportunities that they have to live off, which is off really scraps and mistakes that Paul Roos are leaving on the park, and which is never a good thing. So Nelspruit obviously have a line out. You've got to be able to capitalize just to control your own ball. To live off scraps is very minimal, because this side hardly makes mistakes.
Zander Botha is the replacement scrum half for Paul Roos, as the referee just wants that scrum reset. Not totally happy. And Kennedy, let's hope we'll see a second half with just a little bit less of whistle involved. Sometimes the referees, as the 31st player, they've got no choice but to become pretty influential. And let's see what Paul Roos does from the scrum. Placement scrum of Botha. As we see pick up by big Anton Smit at the back of the scrum. Botha once again. Paul Roos more than happy to be carrying it out of the own 22. Botha. Good offload, and it looks like Meyrang Eberson with a carry there. Botha into the hands of Mostert with a little chip. Beautiful vision, but well covered by number 9 Macquarie. And then a great run down the middle of the field by looks like Remy Engelbrecht. And what a step as well. Brilliant last ditch defense by Anton van Eck. As we see the Paul Roos big heavies tumbling in there. Remy Engelbrecht looking to get ball, hands on ball. It is Botha though, out to Ruben Labuskagni with a carry. Good defense by High School Nelspruit on their own line. And then it's out to that man who started it, Remy Engelbrecht going over.
Yeah.
And another one of the survivors of last year's side, Remy Engelbrecht going over. And what a counter-attack out of their own half, Kennedy.
Yeah, well deserved. When you started, you deserved to finish it, and Engelbrecht was right there to finish it off. What a searing run.
Just a ridiculous step of the right as well.
We call it an ankle breaker. He needs a new ankle guard. He does the fullback. But this was it. I mean, wonderful pace, and he was able to shuffle and just show the ball in 2 hands. Excellent play. Oh, Lord.
I thought it was a step of the right, but after seeing that, it was all hips. And very reminiscent of a young Ruan Pienaar, actually.
Exactly.
You know, it's all in the hips, something Ruan got from Dad Geysi, obviously. And, you know, when the hips goes one way and the feet goes the other, it's absolutely impossible to defend.
No, definitely. A lot of Macarena going on there. It's dancing, shuffling. But that's good play by Paul Roos, looking to add the 2 to make it 33-0.
Kate Voliter wat kyk of hy die extra 2 punte kan byvoeg. En die man baie seker vanaf die kegel en 2 punte wat hy byvoeg. En die skeieregter wat sê dis tyd vir lemoene. En Paul Roos Gimnasium die is oortuigend voor met 33 punte teenoor 0. En die laaste wedstryd van die St. John's Paasfees toernooi. Natuurlik die 23ste Paas toernooi by St. John's. En baie dankie aan Standard Bank wat dit moontlik maak. And thank you very much also to IRB Hall of Famer Kennedy Tsimba for enjoying that first half with us, and we'll see you just after the break.
Everybody, raise your glasses. I just want to say how proud I am of my wife. I don't care that you didn't finish. I mean, I saw you train so hard. You may not be an Ironman, okay? But you will always be my schnookums.
Dear Mr. Kok, dear Mr. Rabada. What's up, Mr. Amla? With all due respect, your days are numbered.
Your time is running out. Tick tock.
Tick tock.
Boy. Time's up.
Sure, you could.
But I can be better.
You just don't know it yet.
Wake up.
You better watch out.
Don't be fooled by my age or my size or my puppy fat or where I'm from. Nah, kita settle juga kau jadi macam. crazy records. I will show the world what can be achieved.
It might be difficult for you to accept.
But I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. I am coming for you.
Welcome back to the final game of the St. John's Easter Festival, the 23rd Easter Festival, and I'd like to use this opportunity to congratulate the St. John's College for yet another masterpiece. And we've in the half-time of the final game of the festival, Paul Roos Gymnasium of Stellenbosch against High School Nelspruit. With me in the commentary box is Kennedy Timber. Kennedy, Paul Roos, very impressive in that first half.
Yes, very impressive. They've been playing such clinical rugby in terms of making sure that their forwards dominate up front and the backs. Any loose ball, they make sure they maximize it, and it's been, you know, beautiful to watch. Some silky skills, some wonderful stepping, and just you know, well executed game plan.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough last year to attend Great College versus Paul Roos in Stellenbosch, and up to that stage, the 2017 Paul Roos and the 16 side never lost since under 14.
Wow.
And a lot of them in this side today. We see the likes of Croy on the right wing doing some wonderful work as well. Kate Voliter played in that Paul Roos side, and then also many players of the first side last year back. We see the man in the number 22 jersey, Remy Engelbrecht, and also Regan van der Westhuizen and Brendan Fenter in the centres back from last year. And that day they lost their first match of their high school careers to Great College under 16 side by 45 points to 27, but a highly rated side from Paul Roos, and I'm sure they will be one of the front runners in schools rugby this year. So we see fly off Tian du Plessis getting the game restarted for Nelspruit, taken in by Tian Pretorius, the left wing of Paul Roos, also part of that highly successful under 16 side last year. Botha, it is who gets it out, and a great carry in the midfield once again, and a good stepping by the Paul Roos players. Unfortunately the pass going missing, but it's that man Remy Engelbrecht with the Jetsus, and a beautiful run again by Engelbrecht. Botha it is, and it carried in by Herman Heinz, who's also been very impressive thus far. Botha with a little snipe on the open side, the replacement scrum off for Paul Roos. See Cans, the big lock forward, with another impressive run. He's been humongous in this game so far as Cans. Now it's just some patience required by Paul Roos. Hoërkool with a big carry close to the line. Ball squirting out, but it is Botha to Mostert. And beautiful hands. And I see my fellow commentator Kennedy Timber really getting excited as Jan Korik van der Walt, the number 18 for Paul Roos, goes over Kennedy.
Oh, that is absolutely beautiful hands. Well worked, and just the speed of the ball that is moving from every ruck. It just, as the defender, doesn't give you enough time to scramble away. And just the sleight of hand that always, I mean, this is wonderful play. The forwards made sure they returned the ball, and that's quick, slick passing. Draw and pass, draw and pass. The All Blacks have specialized in this, and they've made it world renowned. And anyone who can do it is going to be on the winning side of a rugby game.
Kennedy, that was beautiful in its simplicity. You know, we get taught from, you know, when you play ruggers here at the age of 6, 7, you get taught the ball is quicker than the man. And like you said, straight drawing the opposition and getting the pass away.
Yeah, it's always the most simplest things that are difficult to do. You know, looking at one of my former coaches, Casey Pino, who always just made sure that everybody could draw and pass. And as simple as it does, you know, players get frustrated because you like to see fancy stuff that you've seen maybe the Australians do with swivels and double arounds. But a simple draw and pass is the most effective, because the game of rugby will never change in that essence.
We saw another great conversion by Kate Voliter, Tian du Plessis, and chased up by Isak Swanepoel, the number 4 lock. He's been everywhere for Nelspruit this afternoon. Buertak gets it out again. And a big carry by that man, Herman Heinz. Been highly impressed by Heinz this afternoon. See a lot of replacements on as well for Paul Roos. Now there's opportunity for Van der Merwe for Nelspruit. Beautiful offload on the ground, and it's Henku Van der Merwe now taking it up. Scrum off Maguire, just losing his footing. But he gets it away to Stefan Smith and then kicking the ball away. Mostert on the outside to Van der Walt. In the hands of Van der Westhuizen, and now Tian Pretorius. Some space down the left for Pretorius. Paul Roos back of forwards quickly there. Carried on by Anton Smith, the 8th man. Huerta once again, quick ball, Kotze. And pass into no man's land as it's well picked up by Kate Voliter, the fullback for Paul Roos. Highly rated is Voliter. Tian Pretorius now with a big run, the left winger. Well taken down by Micha van der Nest of Nelspruit. And then the referee with a shrill blast. Paul Roos joined the ruck from the side. And Kennedy, I see you've got that naughty smile on your face again. And
not quite sure where some of these calls are coming from, but obviously the ref's call is final. But just interesting that Nelspruit had the ball, they turned over the ball immediately. The number 12 opted to kick the ball away. When you're in the opposition's 22 and you find yourself back in your half, they need to back themselves with the ball. And this is about, you know, the third lineup that they've got. You'd just like to see them maintaining a bit of ball and putting a bit of pressure on Paul Roos' side.
Charles van Zyl, reserve who go off Nelspruit with a feed. And unfortunately he's overthrown that, but very well done by Fly-Off du Plessis. This looks like number 6, Van der Merwe once again. Can Nelspruit hold on to possession this time? And another carry by Charles van Zyl. And then just a big counter ruck. Referee says play on. Looks like Broekman who picked the ball up there. But it's taken off in the ruck by Mikardo Dupree. Hard-working number 5 lock of Paul Roos. And it's that man, Herman Heinz again. Good defense on him by Liam Nagel eventually. Goes to ground, does Heinz. And Paul Roos, nice slick handling, and that man Cans again. Monstrous game by the number 4 lock. Oh, and this time the Huerta caught in possession and a big hit on him. See Remy Engelbrecht going in to protect the ball. Kotze with a little pick and go. He's had a strong afternoon as well, Kennedy.
Yeah, he really has. He's been busy. And I think that's the last time that 9 is going to snipe around the back, because it was a heavy tackle.
Anton Smith now with a carry. Inside to Izuka, JJ Kotze. But the referee spotted the forward pass there. And time for Nelspruit to take some deep breaths. Constantly under siege by Paul Roos is Nelspruit. And Kennedy would like to see them keep hold of possession, strung a few phases together, and put some pressure on the Maroon machine.
Yeah, it's been very difficult because the Maroon machine has been putting so much pressure at the breakdown that if you do not commit 1 or 2 proper numbers, they are obviously trying to look to clean you out. And the more numbers you put in, the easier it becomes for them to defend, because they're only defending a few numbers that are flat. And obviously the decision makers are going to be involved at the bottom of those rucks. So would like to see them working some sort of backline move. You can see they've set up here for obviously a wide play that they would like to do, but this defense of this Paul Roos backline has given them very little space and time to work with. And you have to have proper skill to be able to work around them.
I think Nelspruit would like to get Paul Reeder into the game. Their fullback, he's been one of their most promising backs throughout this tournament. And let's see what Maguire and Tian du Plessis can come up with here for Nelspruit.
Yeah.
I would love to see Tian du Plessis off behind a dominant pack, Kennedy.
Yeah, and I mean he's had to revert just to be able to kick and clear from clearance. But let's hope he gets a bit of ball to move.
In the hands of du Plessis now, and Stefan Smith with a straight run, the number 12. And second phase possession now in the hands of Tian du Plessis. Makes contact, the fly stays on his feet well, and the bus is full on Anton Smith. And his teammates will make him remember that. The fly of running straight over Anton Smith. There's a quick ball out to the left, it looks like Van der Walt. And some space now eventually for Nelspruit. But good defense by Remy Engelbrecht. And once again the referee spotting Paul Roos going offside. It was a good run by Gert Loopsche, the number 14 for Nelspruit. But equal to the task on defense was Remy Engelbrecht, showing all his experience and just guiding him into touch.
Yeah, Loopsche looks like he's got good speed on him. You'd just like to see him getting a bit more ball. And it's just it's a pity because the Nelspruit team has really struggled with their lineouts. We complimented them early, and they've really struggled on their set pieces, and that's made it difficult for them to get some continuity.
Apologies, it is still Jason Cornelius, the hooker for Nelspruit with a feed. And unfortunately the timing just wrong once again. And Kotze with a run, taken in by that man Tian du Plessis. But staying on his feet tremendously is Kotze. And the cavalry arrives at his Botha into the hands of Venter. And now it's Tian Pretorius with a run down the left. Good defense by Van Eck for Nelspruit. Anton Smith with yet another carry, the 8th man of Paul Roos. Now it's in the hands of the lock forward Cans. Beautiful soft hands shown by the lock of Paul Roos. Botha, Mostert. Brendan Venter trying to get on the outside of his man. Good defense once again by Tian du Plessis. And carried up strongly by Herman Heinz. Botha to Venter. Venter into the 22. Botha once more. As we see another replacement on for Paul Roos. Botha going on the little snipe. In over the ball quickly is Van der Merwe for Nelspruit. A beautiful work. In fact, it was the number 12, Stefan Smith. And he's also done some solid work this afternoon in a losing effort. And Stefan Smith winning a crucial turnover for his side.
Yeah, again, Paul Roos right on the front football, and the scrum off opting to always break at the wrong time. Last time he broke, they almost took his neck off. And this time they broke, he was isolated and they were able to turn over. That was a good turnover by Nelspruit's loose forward. They really committed to that ruck. But it is taking its toll. As you can see, some of the players are starting to, kneel down. It's been a long 3-day festival of physical rugby, and it's commendable that Nelspruit are still out here giving their all.
You can also follow us live on Twitter at School Sports Live. As another overthrow in the line out, and JJ Kotze has been having a field day, the Hoërkool of Paul Roos. And turnover possession once more into the hands of Mostert. Long ball out to Ruben Labuschagne. Labuschagne does well, and solid defense by the Nelspruit backline this time. Botha once again to Van der Walt. Good carry up, Botha. Good ball for the scrum off. And a strong carry up by Paul Roos. Botha into the hands of the lanky Mostert. Mostert looking for the break himself, but he's into the 22 of Nelspruit. Now it's that man, Kate Voliter, with a little grabber through. Beautifully fielded by Tian Pretorius. But another little mistake spotted by the referee. He says Pretorius was in front of the kicker. And a chance for Nelspruit to escape their lines. So we see old Nelio de Saa of Rugby 15 saying this Paul Roos team is really special. And he touts them as the team to beat in 2018. As we send our regards out to Nelio de Sams, who are watching out there in Bloemfontein, Kennedy.
Yes, Nelio know very well. One of the first props I played with, and knowledgeable about the game, and doing some great work in terms of covering rugby around the country. And he's got a strong, powerful voice and some good knowledge about the game.
Kennedy, Nelio will be playing for the Old Grey Boys next weekend in Paul when they take on the side of the Old Paul Boys. I know that Noka Drotsky and Oli Leroux will also be playing in the front row for Grey College. As we see Nelspruit with some possession. Looks like a big carry up in the midfield, but Paul Roos defense, Ruben Labuskaghni doing yeoman work there. And the turnover into the hands of Mostert. Beautiful step on the right by the fly off into the 22. And Paul Roos just carrying on where they left off a minute ago. You see Buerta once again into the hand of Cairns. Powerful performance today by Cairns, the lock forward of Paul Roos. Great ball once again for Buerta into the hands of Brendan Venter. Kate Volita, soft hands, and then just a hand getting in the way. What does the referee say? Was that a deliberate knockdown? Buerta once again for Paul Roos. Brendan Venter, little step of the left. Carried up strongly once again. Referee still has advantage for Paul Roos. As they take route one this time, does Paul Roos. Buerta going for a snipe once again. Stopped in his tracks once again. As we see Tian Pretorius, the left wing, helping out a scrum off. And just a little bit of white line fever now coming in for Paul Roos, Kennedy.
Yeah, they're so close and they just keep probing. And it's rather unfortunate because that ball was slapped down, and that was definitely a penalty try, but the try is awarded now.
And let's see who gets
Close
up with
work.
the ball there. And it around the fringes, it was the ginormous back of Paul Roos just going over again. And we couldn't spot a number there. And we'll see if we can get a replay on that. As we've got a little bit of time, just getting back to Nelio de Sal and the game next week, Kennedy, at the World Schools Festival. It'll be the Old Boys of Afis, of Paul Gymnasium, Paul Boys High and Grey College.
Wow.
Also treating the fans to a spectacle. And as I mentioned, Nelio will be I think he'll be in a super sub position on the bench for Grey College.
Yeah, that's going to be good. Just watching Brendan Venter here, he saw that the outside had pushed up, so he was able to cut back in. And from here, it was good that the forwards just kept it tight. We weren't able to see the try at the end of it, but it was well worked in terms of just using the power game. And they really have made this a comfortable victory now for Paul Roos. I think the coaches are going to look to start making the changes now.
What's impressed me a lot, Kennedy, is that Paul Roos has already made a lot of changes, and they've been able to keep their continuity. Also a sign of a class team.
Yeah, and that's always a great indication of your squad depth, because it is a long season. By the time you have to face the Paul boys and the Paul Hims, you make sure that your reserves have got enough game time under their belt.
So we see Paul Roos having advantage for a kick that didn't go 10. Now it's in the hands of dangerous Johan Mostert. And he does beautifully to field his own little chip and then get the offload to Brendan Venter. And a beautiful work once again by the backs of Paul Roos. As we now see the big look forward, Cairns in the scrum half position. And he carries around the fringes as Cairns and makes another couple of meters. Just giving his scrum half an opportunity. To Gerard Klute now back on the field for Paul Roos. And the coach is really managing the squad well over these 3 days. Beautiful work around the fringes once again. Another pick up by Johan Bauer for Paul Roos. As they look to be a really well-drilled side. Back of forwards can do it. The backs can do it now in the hands of Mostert. Brendan Venter with another carry and a beautiful handoff. Venter eventually being taken. Just dragged forward by his forwards. Klute digging for that one into the hands of Heinz. Heinz with yet another carry. He's had umpteenth carries today. Into the hands of Labuskaghni. Inside the Nelspruit 22 once more is the Maroon Juggernaut. Paul Roos from Stellenbosch demolishing Hoërkool Nelspruit. Cans carrying well once again. Are we going to see the pick and go now by the Paul Roos backer forwards? Looks like Myron Everson carrying up. And then yet another pick and go as we see Kluter now digging for it, playing on the blind side in the hands of Mostert. Beautiful angle run, but great defense by Paul Reeder of Nelspruit. Looks like Reeder might have injured himself in that tackle. Hopefully the referee spotters that sooner rather than later as we see Cans burrowing over, but well defended as we see the referee taking them back for a 5-meter scrum. Paul Reeder has stayed down after big contact there, Kennedy.
Yeah, that is great commitment from Reeder. I mean, to be able to stop that line. They played a short ball, and he was obviously aware of that short ball and had to tackle with his opposite shoulder. And it's always difficult to make that tackle when you've got an angle coming in.
Kennedy, while we've got some time, you mentioned earlier Casey Pinaar, one of your coaches. Would you like to share with the viewers, in your opinion, who was the great coaches that you played under? Who was somebody that stood out for you?
Well, it's I had the fortune, I was very fortunate to be able to play under some wonderful coaches. Some really a variety, type of coaches, because in terms of, Tim Lane was, I played under him at the Cats. What a great, wonderful rugby brain he had. But the most influential coach who had a lot of influence on the type of play I played, because I was always going to be a good running fly-off, but the kicking and tactical part of it. I played 2 seasons in Bath in England, and I was coached under Clive Woodward and Andy Robinson, and I really learned so much. The way they think and their philosophies about the game is absolutely incredible.
As we see Reeder just being helped from the field, he's been one of the standouts for Nelspruit right throughout this tournament, and we wish him a speedy recovery. As we also thank the medical staff at the tournament, who's been absolutely brilliant and an integral part of such a tournament. Kennedy saying that Clive Woodward and Andy Robinson, that was one of the highlights of his playing career, playing under them. Kennedy, also something every young player needs to go through, in your opinion, playing rugby overseas?
Yeah, definitely, because they really do play a different type of structure that we play here in the Southern Hemisphere. So your tactical awareness, whereas here your physical ability is put to test, but there you have to be very tactical, and that's something that some of the SAFA players that are playing overseas have obviously improved their skills. We've seen the Mornay Steins and the Rowan Pinaars have gone overseas, and they've come back and their kicking games have been on spot. So it really does improve that side of it. And even the forwards, when it goes there, your scrumming technique and the way you drive from lineouts, everything is put to test, because the grounds, they are slow and heavy, and it's not about how fast you are or how big you are.
Gerard Kluter feeding the scrum for Paul Roos. Finds fly off Mostert. Mostert attacking the line, and a beautiful offload. That is a great work by Mostert and number 12 Brendan Venter. And under the sticks they go, Paul Roos, and raise their bat for their 50. As son of Coach Brendan, namesake Brendan Venter, goes over right under the sticks. And beautiful rugby here by fly-off John Mostert.
I have been impressed by Mostert, and they say like father, like son. Brendan always used to make those runs, and was a knowledgeable inside centre, and his son is obviously following his footsteps. But I really have been impressed by Mostert. He reminds me of a Steve Larkham, that's always probing, and he's been probing at that line, and that makes it so difficult, because a lot of the flyers that we have are just shifting the ball, being a link man, but he has been in the action. He's put through some chips and really has probed, and every time there's a half gap, he's gone through and made sure he's offloaded. Wonderful player.
Tian du Plessis with a restart for Nelspruit. High hanging restart, and Paul Roos, it is who gathers. It looks like that man, Johan Bouwer, the number 6 flank. As we see Croy, Venter, Van der Walt with a big carry into the hands of Regan van der Westhuizen. Kluter once more, and a big carry up in the forwards by Mink Sherink. And the continuity shown by the Packer forwards, Paul Roos, absolutely astounding this afternoon, as the commentator's curse strikes again, and Gerard Klute just with a little knock-on on the floor. But Paul Roos, full value for their 54-0 lead over Nelspruit.
Yeah, and they've had such wonderful continuity, as we see Corné Steenkamp, also known as Twaki. You know, he's got on his knees. He's seen that the score is not favorable. But I mean, it's been a great outing by a good side, and there's nothing ever wrong when you're beaten by a class side.
Neil Henning, the replacement scrummer for Nelspruit, about to feed the scrum on their own 10-meter line in the middle of the park. And can we see an attack deep out of their own territory by Nelspruit? They would love to keep possession for 2 or 3 minutes and really put the Paul Roos line under siege. As the referee decides hands in the scrum, and Gerard Klute nearly taking the quick tap. But to Paul Roos' credit, they're also keeping to their structures. So easy to let go of those structures when you're leading by 50. But Johan Mostert it is who's looking for the corner. And a beautiful touch finder it is by the fly-off, who's had an absolutely brilliant outing this afternoon.
Yeah, and you've got to be impressed in the conditioning of these boys. I mean, just look at the, the players from 1 to 15. You can see that there's been a wonderful conditioning program, and to add skills to that, it's going to be tough to beat them on a good day.
Maring Eberson with a feed there for Paul Roos, and now the driving ball by Paul Roos. Klute receives into the hands of Engelbrecht now. Johan Mostert and Regan van der Westhuizen comes on the cut on the inside. Great ball for Paul Roos now. Herman Heinz it is now, the flank forward with another carry. And there must be numbers to the left now for Paul Roos. You see Gerard Klute digging in for that one. And looks like they're over once again. But the referee says held up. Kennedy, I'm almost sure I could see that one going to ground. But the post might have been in the way for the referee. Yeah. And I think very unlucky as we see this shake of the head there by, we'll get to a number just now. But as we see the big carry there by the Paul Roos forwards. They're about a meter out at this stage. As we see one of the tight forwards calling the ball and going over right next to the poles and definitely getting it down. And unfortunately, the referee might not have been in the best of positions.
No, for sure. We've got obviously the benefit of the camera, but you did call it. And, just having a look at this game, and if I had to name a man of the match, I have been impressed by Herman Heinz. He has carried the ball countless times, and he's always in the middle of the action and getting good go forward for the backs to be able to play some of that slick ball movement that has been on display.
Yeah, definitely, Kennedy. He's been part of so much of that Paul Roos attacks. Tireless carries today. Mostert taking the ball to the line once again, and then Regan van der Westhuizen with a beautiful angled run, just cutting on the inside of the defender, turning the shoulder, and there was only going to be one winner there, Regan van der Westhuizen. Like I mentioned, played for the Paul Roos first side last year as well. As we see the replay here. John Mostert.
Wonderful play. The old scissors play where the outside centre, I was about to say beta centre comes in, but he does come in on an angle. It seems like him and Brendan Fent are switching because Brendan ran the similar line on the previous try, and both of these tries are well worked because the number 10 held the ball just enough time for the defenders to be able to get confused in which channel that they were running.
One of the highlights of the Paul Roos play today is the way that they've been looking for the space, running into the space and also passing into space. Yeah. And great work by the Paul Roos backs once more. As we see Kate Voliter lining up yet another conversion. He's been kicking beautifully today. And this time the commentator's curse doesn't bother him at all, and he adds the extras. Paul Roos Gym now leading by 61 points to 0.
Oh yeah, he's grooving because Volata has been striking the ball so sweetly. When a player strikes it that sweetly, we can afford a bit of a mambo jumbo dance on the side, and the spectators are enjoying it.
Beautifully taken in out of the air by Jan Corrie van der Walt, and a great carry as well. Kluter once again into the hands of Sherink. Sherink that played a lock forward last year for Paul Roos, now playing in the tight head. And a good carry by Sherink as well. Mostert once again taking the ball to the line. And a beautiful offload to Croy. This man's got some serious gas. And a great little shimmy on the inside before scoring in the left-hand corner. And now they're just having fun, Kennedy.
Oh, yes, they really are having fun. Talk about gas, talk about speed. He has got it, and now he's even a physio because that's how quick he is. He's able to stretch the cramps, but he really has a blistering speed, and that was wonderful because the fly-off created the space and made sure the timing was enough to just buy him enough speed, and just the shimmy in outside didn't give you enough time to be able to cover.
Yeah, no, that's no replacement in rugby for pure pace, and the moment Croy got that pass from his fly-off, there was only one winner, and it was Croy. What's impressed me most about Mostert, Kennedy, is the way that he takes the ball to the line.
Yeah.
And he's also big enough to take the contact if needed. So he really attacks the gain line, and his passes is always on the gain line and flat with somebody running onto it.
And the good thing about that is that even if his pack is going backwards, he does have that physicality to be able to absorb it and still offload. And when the ball is going on the front foot ball like this, he becomes a double-edged sword in terms of his threat. This will be a real challenge for the sweet striking kicker of his note, and
no challenge.
Easy. No challenge at all. It's as good as kicking from the middle. He really does have a wonderful strike.
I've been spending the last 10 minutes, Kennedy, just trying to think teams that are going to play Paul Roos late in the year.
Yeah.
Where's the weakness? And I'm not seeing much, because they've got a great tight five, brilliant loose forwards, and then a back line to savour.
Yeah. No, they really have a complete team. And obviously, the question is, once they do meet a team that's going to be getting their own set phases, it's the scrums and the lineouts. How is their defensive, pressure when pressure does come on? How do they adapt to that? Because that's always when the true test of a good side is, when the pressure's put on, and maybe your scrum is not always going to the front foot, and the defense is always up on the line. But that's what good teams want to play a side that's going to put them under pressure.
Yeah, for sure. That's the one thing that early in the season they haven't found yet, is somebody that's put them under pressure. And we'd love to see later in the year how they handle that. As we see Kluter once again getting the ball out. As more replacements on as Volita now. Running a little bit sideways as Croy with a good step off the right. And then it's Tian Pretorius with a run down the right. Neil Henning hanging on for all he's worth. And then just a little knock forward by Paul Roos. The referee has a look at his watch. And it looks like we've got time for one more scrum, says the Golden Lions referee with a wry smile on his face. As one final chance for Hoërkool Nelspruit.
Yeah, I think some of the Nelspruit players was like, ref, you're going to blow it, But I think, they really have stuck at it, and it'll be so wonderful for them to be able to finish off this game with a try. Just for them to be able to keep the ball a bit, but it's been such intense pressure.
Good scrum there by the boys from Nelspruit, and a pick up at the back of that scrum as we now see Henning getting it out to Du Plessis, and Du Plessis going on his own. He's been fighting a bit of a lone battle this afternoon. See Henning once again getting it out, and then a good offload in the tackle, but it's that man Cans in very quickly over the ball for Paul Roos. Was in fact Bauer that got his hands on that ball. We now see Remy Engelbrecht, Brendan Fent, Volita, great hands now in the hands of Regan van der Westhuizen, and then van der Westhuizen passes it into touch. But the referee says we've had enough, and as we send our regards as well to Hendrik Ronje from the Volksblad, Kennedy, another man that you'll know very well, and regards to Hendrik there in Bloemfontein, and also a great servant of the game of rugby.
Yeah, definitely. He is, reported on some of the greatest reports done of rugby, not just in Bloemfontein, but around South Africa. And it's good to see him supporting schoolboy rugby. It's always a good sign when we know Hendrik Onye is supporting schoolboy rugby. We know we're in the right platform.
But what a performance it was in the final game of the St. John's Festival by Roos Gymnasium. They scored more than 220 points during this festival this side, and they conceded, I think, only 15 points, Kennedy, and they're looking like a side to beat this year. And we'd like to say thank you once again to Standard Bank for making this live feed possible, and congratulations to Rowan Rolf and his side of School Sports Live, who brought you numerous matches over this Easter weekend, and looking forward to a great rest of the season. Kennedy, also good luck to you and your St. Albans side on the season lying ahead. May it be one of great highlights.
Thank you.